Anyway, the point of contention here is a faculty of a sense of morality that's created by materialistic processes, and whether or not it has a sense of duty to it to treat others in a certain way. Okay, so from the evolution materialistic paradigm, it's purely a function of utility for species survival. So for someone to tell me that it's wrong for me to subjugate a race if I deem it so necessary to the survival of my genome over another, that would simply be me exercising my superior strength, mental faculties, etc., which for the purpose of survival would be a moral good, since our senses of morality are only constructed from materialistic causations of increased reproduction. So the ultimate end goal of all of this stuff is to propagate your genome over another's. So any means by which you can do so is morally good, since morals themselves were created from that very process. That's the only way they can come about.
Yeah, I want you to find me somebody who believes in evolution and believes that, and
It's
actually believes the stuff
irrelevant.
you're saying. You're
It's
just making a total
irrelevant.
straw man, dude. Nobody.
No, I am not. Listen to me. I am not telling you this is what you believe. I am telling you this is
Evolution.
the facts of
Find
the
me
nature
one
of the
evolutionist.
paradigm.
Find me one evolutionist who bases his moral judgments on evolution. One.
He
So you're
bases them
saying
on
that-
his intuitions. Listen, I'm going to say this again, okay? And we'll see if you can catch it this time. He is basing his conclusion on his intuitions, his moral intuitions, which are innate to his self. His self, which was created and only could have been created through the evolutionary process of natural selection, which is a function of survival and reproduction. Therefore, his sense of morality was and can only be, and in no other way, shape, or form, not even in principle, be informed by this process of competing for reproduction to ensure that your genome passes into the next generation. That's it. So whether or not he believes his morality is from evolution is irrelevant. That is the only causation for his sense of morality. And therefore, if he uses that sense of morality to defeat himself, his position is incoherent.
You don't even understand that.
In other words, he's only nice to other people. He only treats other people nicely. He only cares about not killing kids because he feels that way because evolution has done that to him. It serves no purpose except utility. So in a society where you will be killed by another man for killing his child because that man wants to ensure his genome is passed into the next reality or the next generation, it's purely a matter of utility and who is stronger. Because if you're stronger and you can subjugate the other, there's no reason not to. However, if you're weaker and you must exist, if you're weaker and you must exist through social interactions where you're like mitigating with others, right? Because you don't want to be punished, you don't want to suffer, etc. It's all utility.
Yeah, I mean, we're basically robots according to evolution. We have one prime directive, and anything
so my
else
point is this. Yes, my point is this.
I'm sorry. Evolution doesn't give us like a direction in which like we go. It's just like a natural selection method. Like it's random mutation. That's it.
Which you just proved the point, and Umwhat has just brought it to fruition. Listen, Umwhat has just brought it to fruition perfectly. That the end conclusion is that this idea that you have in your head about morality, etc., is incoherent with the mechanisms in your worldview. You have something that exists of a necessity self-evident to yourself that's counteractive to your worldview.
No, I could give you like an evolutionary basis for morality, but a little bit. I could build you up.
Yes, you can, and I just did it for you.
No, let's hear what.
Straw man.
No, it's not a straw man. It's the explicit definition of the mechanism necessary to produce anything in the sequential generations. Period.
You lost him when you first.
Let me say this again. T, E, R, I, O, D. You have no other mechanisms.
You
I
lost
don't
him.
really get what you're.
You lost him
I
at
don't
the
really-
beginning of your argument.
Yes,
when
you don't get it. That's the point, because your worldview is incoherent.
You're
It's
trying to
not
make
rational.
a case originally that basically people who believe in evolution are pieces of shit because they
No,
basically
that's
kinda change their
not.
position.
That's not what I said.
That's what you said
Dude,
originally.
you're the one. No, it isn't.
Okay, well maybe I misunderstood you. Now, hold on.
Yeah.
Let me clarify your
Let me
position
try
and see
to
if
get
I'm
at
right.
this. Let me
Wait,
try to get at this.
Can I? Well,
This is
let me
what he's-
re-clarify his
hold on.
position, Predator, and let me
Well,
see if
good
I'm
luck.
right. And you
This is
guys
what he's
correct
saying.
me.
Good
What?
luck
This
getting
is what
Predator
he's
to shut
saying.
up.
Hold on. This is what he's saying.
No, let
He's
let
saying that-
let 50 speak though. Let's hear what he has to say now. He's heard us.
I just want to be curious if I'm like kind of processing what he's saying properly. Now, what I think you're saying, through evolution, we have like built these mechanisms into our brain that are responsible for the way we function in society. But I don't really understand what you're saying about that or what it means, or like I just don't get what you're. That's all you're really saying is like evolution. If you believe in evolution, then you believe your brain has these kind of mechanisms in place to kind of process information and function the ways we function in society. But other than that, I don't really understand what your point is or what you're trying to say.
The point is, at the end of the day, it's only the limitations of your programming. There's no incumbency upon you to follow them except in the express purpose of utility to yourself. For example, if it's more utilitarian for you to murder someone, then there should be no reason why you shouldn't do so.
Aside from being a good human.
No, but
Good? Define good. I already explained it to you that it's purely a mechanistic
good?
process in your brain.
what here?
AI. Let me just say this because I know what you're saying.
Well, what I'm saying and what I'm demonstrating here clearly is that his intuitions is defeating his own paradigm.
Basically telling me that I would kill somebody based on my evolutionary belief.
No, wrong.
I should.
No, what I'm telling you is if you allow your feelings to stop you from doing something that's utilitarianly in your benefit simply to save another human, which is not going to be in your genome to pass down, you're defying the entire mechanism of evolution. You're basically deluded.
I understand what you're saying, but I mean, you're talking about like in terms of like pure mechanics, like we're robots and we're not humans. Like people don't make judgments like that, so I don't understand what your point is.
Bingo! Stop! Everybody, stop right now. What you just said, okay, is exactly my point. You are proving that we are not the mechanistic robots we would be if evolution, materialism was true.
I don't think that's what evolution states, that we're mechanistic robots. I think it.
I don't care what evolution says, bro. I don't care. This is the necessary consequences of the mechanisms of creation in the evolution materialistic paradigm.
Why
do you not get this?
You were having a good conversation here. Why are you getting so heated?
AI.
Chill out, man.
I'm going to simplify what you're saying, if you allow me to say it. So, in other words, if you believe in evolution, what is wrong with Caesar, Napoleon, or Hitler?
Nothing.
Why are they?
The answer is nothing is wrong with them.
They're killing unnecessarily.
Yes. That's what I'm
killing
getting
unnecessarily.
at.
There you go. There's your answer.
I'm trying to simplify what you're saying.
Unnecessarily.
So the people wearing
justify killing in our society, right?
Hold on, let me finish. So the people wearing the Ku Klux Klan, the people wearing the Jesus Christ, the people, there's nothing wrong with that. That just came from evolution.
Yep.
No.
Yes.
That's what you're saying.
That's not what I'm saying.
Listen, it's not what you're saying. Listen. Right. We know it's not what you're saying. The point is that is what the evolution paradigm necessitates. What you are doing is expressing
there's nothing wrong with Hitler.
Right. But then you're saying it is something wrong. It is something wrong, and then you're borrowing morals from another paradigm and then putting it into your evolution paradigm and thinking we won't notice the sleight of hand.
I told you I can make a moral basis for
Very well put.
Evolutionary basis for morals, I'm sure.
No, but look at this.
I already gave it to you, bro. I gave it to you and set it up perfectly.
You didn't even feel it.
Well, then
Look,
what's the problem?
Imagine, this is the part you're not seeing. Imagine if your belief of being good is what keeps you alive, like acting good. You see, that's not what you're not seeing. That's your survival part, that you, oh, that person's good. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Okay, like I said, I'm an atheist. I believe in evolution. Like, typically, when I look out and see, like, a lot of people acting, I feel like they're acting, like, in a selfish nature.
So I want you to tell me...
I typically try and act, like, in a non-selfish nature, right?
That's great. That's perfect. But I want you to give me a reason, an actual reason, okay? A real moral reason of why somebody shouldn't kill you.
Just randomly?
No, listen, if they deem that it's in their best interest for their utility in their life to kill you, I want you to make a case for your own life against that. Go.
Don't. You're a piece of shit human.
Well, that'll work. That'll sure work. I think that worked on Hitler, and I think that worked on Genghis Khan.
I would have to know the exact circumstance. Like, that's not enough information. Yeah.
No, it's very simple, dude. It's very simple. Watch, I'll give it to somebody else. I'll give it to somebody else. Hey, what? If you had to make a case for your life of why somebody else shouldn't kill you, based in your own worldview, how would you do so?
Because I would kill them first.
Well, that's a good one. But if you had to make a case.
Oh, like using words, you're saying?
Yeah, like why is it that you shouldn't be killed? Because it's clearly in this other person's best interest to kill you. They're clearly stronger than you, and if they choose to, they can and will.
I don't know. It's a difficult situation because I would probably argue that they wouldn't be able to kill me and stuff like that, honestly.
Right.
It would just, I mean, I would use confusion tactics. I have a lot of tactics effective for that.
Well, what he's saying,
complex topics.
What he's saying is, in the state of evolution, if you can't answer that, you're better off dead.
Because, like, let's say, like, you know, if you kill me, are you going to jail? Just reminding them of things is enough sometimes.
Right. So you're appealing to consequences. So if they can usurp the consequences, and it doesn't sway them, for example, they're stronger than the jailer. What reason do you have to give them of why you should not be killed?
Or another tactic you could use is say, you should kill me. Reverse psychology, then. It sounds funny, but then they're going to be scared. They're going to say, why is this guy not afraid of death?
This motherfucker's crazy.
So you're saying at the moment of your death.
Well, if I can't win, right? We're saying I can't win.
You're saying your last attempt is reverse psychology.
It's just
right, but you notice how the other guy's argument was, well, you'd be a shitty human being, but he's making a moral judgment upon that human. But we've already established that the only way you can have morals in a evolution paradigm is based on utility from previous generations. So once that utility is worn out, it's no longer valid.
What about you, AI? Let's pose the same situation to you. Somebody's fixing to kill you. What's your case for getting out of being killed?
Well, my case would be appealing to my sentience, created, the self-evident nature of my internal experience, that you'd actually be hurting a sentient living soul, and you would be held morally accountable by the creator of said soul.
And I'm an atheist. I'd say you're full of shit.
Right. So you notice how you just proved my point.
I was joking there, of course. I'm not a piece of shit human, so I wouldn't kill you.
Well, if you wouldn't kill me, if it served your utilitarian purposes, in my opinion, from your worldview, you'd be very weak, because you'd basically be letting your feelings rule you.
No, but
I'm not an animal, AI. I'm a human with an
ability to think. What's a human?
Like, I'm not a fucking lion, dude. We're not lions.
Right. So when did the evolution materialistic atheistic process give rise to sentient internal experience?
From day one, dude.
From day one.
Day one,
no
man.
evidence of that, bro. You're on faith religion.
So you're not an atheist, you're a self-deist.